Tonight, the politician, his wife and a doctor jailed for organ trafficking to the capital. The couple had tried to get a kidney for their daughter from a man they brought to London from Nigeria. Today they were convicted under the Modern Slavery Act in a legal first. A black former Met officer whose face was painted white by his colleagues tells ITV News the force needs to get a grip on racism within its ranks.
Now you fit in, and I let them do it because I felt that that's what I needed to do to fit in, to belong.
Also ahead, take a look at this horrifying moment. A police horse is attacked by an out-of-control dog. It happened in Victoria Park yesterday. We'll have the latest. Plus,
I love his optimism and the fact that this was the challenge of the biggest challenge on earth.
why Joanna Lumley is backing the injured soldier from Kent, attempting one of his hardest missions yet. Good evening. He was promised £7,000 and opportunities to work in the capital, but in exchange, a 21-year-old street trader from Lagos would have had to give his kidney to the daughter of a wealthy politician from Nigeria. Never before has a case like this been heard in the UK, but today a jury at the Old Bailey found senior Nigerian politician Ike Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and a medical middleman guilty of an organ trafficking plot, which the victim only became aware of when he met doctors at the Royal Free Hospital. With the latest, here's Daniel Henry.
This story starts on the streets of Lagos, where a vulnerable young man was taken to London to give up his kidney for cash. Ike Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and Dr. Obinna Obeta were found guilty today under the Modern Slavery Act of an organ harvesting conspiracy.
This is the first conviction of its kind in the UK. We could not have achieved this without the courage of one person, our victim survivor. I want to commend him for his bravery in speaking out.
The plan was to persuade private medics at the Royal London Free to perform the operation, but they refused. The trio wanted to give the organ to Ike's daughter Sonia, who you can see there at the front. She was subsequently cleared in court today. When the man eventually escaped, he made his way to a police station in Staines. What he told them led directly to this conviction.
Some of the details read out in court today were barely believable, but campaigners who have been following the case say they only highlight the scale of the problem of modern slavery for our capital.
Modern slavery is very common in London for multiple different reasons. London's got a diverse economy and it's a real economic hub and it's got lots of private residences, and so you're going to find all different kinds of exploitation taking place in London. You should have a system that identifies those victims and survivors and brings them out of those areas of exploitation.
Is that where we are? Do we have that system in place?
The system is being rolled back at the moment, it has to be said. There was huge gains made under the Modern Slavery Act. However, the Nationality and Borders Act that came in place last year and now this proposed so-called illegal migration bill really represents a significant rollback in the ability for victims and survivors to access support.
Nearly a third of all modern slavery cases are recorded in London. The government say they're committed to tackling modern slavery and human trafficking. Sentencing will take place on the 5th of May. Daniel Henry, ITV News.
A homophobic man has been found guilty of battering another man to death with a claw hammer in a cemetery in Tower Hamlets. 37-year-old Eric Feld hid behind a monument before launching himself on Ranjith Kankanamagi in August 2021. The cemetery was a well-known cruising hotspot for gay men. The judge described Feld as having a long-standing obsession with extreme violence. And breaking news in the last half an hour, Croydon Council has announced it is taking unprecedented action to hold its former leaders to account for financial misconduct. Will refer its failures to the police. Croydon first went bankrupt in November 2020 when its finances went out of control. We'll bring you more on that story tomorrow. It's been a week of scandal surrounding the officers who are supposed to be keeping our city safe. But for the victims who have suffered at the hands of the Met, it's been a chance to open up about incidents that have so far gone unnoticed. For one family who lost their daughter in a shooting in South East London, it has been a particularly tough period. They say they've experienced racism and police failures for the last 20 years and that officers have made them feel like their daughter's life doesn't matter. Carolyn Sim has a story.
She was shot by a gang of criminals who were known to the police. But 20 years on, an inquest into Sabina Rizvi's death has never taken place. Her mother believes the Metropolitan Police have questions to answer about the role they played on the night she died.
How would you sum up your feelings about the Met Police?
I don't trust them as far as I throw the ball. The experiences I've had with them since I lost Sabina.
In the early hours of March the 20th, 2003, Sabina had just left Bexley Heath Police Station with her friend Mark Williams when they were ambushed by two cars. Gunshots were fired and Sabina was killed. Mark survived. Earlier that night, a police officer at the station had made contact with gangster Paul Asprey. The family wants to know if that call was a tip-off which ultimately put the pair in danger. A year later, Paul Asprey was convicted of Sabina's murder. But the person who fired the gun has never been identified.
Soon after, we did put about 120 questions to the Met. They were able to answer just over 40. And the others they could not answer because of legal reasons. I'm still waiting for those answers. I want those answers.
Sabina's family have had their requests for a full inquest rejected twice. But now a coroner is convinced there is sufficient cause for one. It comes in the week the Casey report declared the Met institutionally racist. Sabina's mum isn't surprised.
Now, Sabina was an Asian girl, Mark Williams, African Caribbean, right? They have been released, right, just around the corner. She's been bombarded with bullets. She loses her life on scene. Just turn it around. If that was a white UK girl and it was black boys or Asian boys had carried out the same act, how would the public perceived?
The Met Police told us tonight the Independent Office for Police Conduct announced 2 years ago that they will reinvestigate police actions in relation to Sabina's death. But they gave no further details of any outcome. In a few months, Paul Asprey could be out on parole. He has so far refused to participate in any hearing as the decades-long anguish for this family goes on. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
Well, since Baroness Casey's damning report on Tuesday, those who have felt those failings from inside the force have been reflecting too. Gamal Turua retired from the Met in 2018 after more than 25 years' service. But in an interview with ITV News, he speaks of one incident where a colleague told him he was the wrong colour to be in the job before covering his face in white shoe polish. Well, he told his story to Graham Stothard.
Can you talk us through some of the experiences you had?
Well, it was when I first started at the police college in Hendon. One of the things about police culture is you have to fit in. You have to fit in, you have to be part of the culture. And that pressure to fit in can be very overwhelming. And when I started at Hendon, I wanted to fit in. And initially, there were some good people, but there were people that would make very sort of like sarcastic remarks about my colour, about me being there, and it was very uncomfortable. And I remember going to see a sergeant one day, sat down with him and spent about 45 minutes talking to him about how I felt. And he replied, at the end of it, he just looked at me and said, "You know what your problem is, son? You got a chip on your shoulder." And I was thinking, how do I fit in? And then an opportunity happened. I was in my room studying, and there's a knock at the door, and some of the guys that we used to hang around with came into the room laughing and joking. And then one of them said, "You know what, you're the wrong colour to be in this job, you know." And there was some shoe whitener on the shelf, which he took down and painted me white. And said, "Yeah, now you fit in." And I let them do it because I felt that that's what I needed to do to fit in, to belong. The word is belong, to belong.
Quite a disturbing report in some elements has just come out. Casey report. Are you surprised by some of the findings in that, or from your experience?
Sadly, and I say sadly, I'm not. And it pains me to say that, because we've had the Lawrence report, we've had the Lammy report, we've had the Scarman report, we've had numerous reports that have said the same thing. And the sad thing is we're still in the same place. You've got from 1967 and we're now in 2023 and we're still having the same conversations.
A lot of people are calling for the force to be renamed, taken over, rebranded, I guess, change of leadership. What do you think that would make a difference, or is it something?
It's not the leadership; it's the canteen. You have to get into the canteens. That's where a lot of this stuff sits. And the leadership in Scotland Yard or wherever they're based are not in the canteens. It's a huge, huge beast. It takes more than changing a name to change a culture. It's a starting point. Anybody who's expecting this to change overnight is living in cloud cuckoo land. It's not about solving a problem, it's about evolving a culture. And I think those are two different things. Everybody's expecting everything to be solved within the next couple of months or within the next year. It's not going to happen.
Do you have faith it will change, or do you think you'll be having the same conversation with someone like me in 20 years?
I have hope. One of the things that I am, and I have every right to be angry, bitter and twisted. Right? I'm not. I have hope. I still have hope, because I know, even with all this stuff that's going on, there are some really, really good people within that police service.
Well, Gamal Turua speaking to Graham Stothard. The Met says racism, homophobia, sexism or any type of hate or disrespect will not be tolerated. We recognise that there is need for real change in the organisation. We are working harder than ever before to improve our culture and professional standards. Still to come, the fall weather forecast. Plus, we meet the injured soldier who is making it his mission to complete Mount Everest. And we'll be live in Leicester Square talking to the A-list cast of Dungeons and Dragons. Keep your eyes peeled for Hugh Grant and Chris Pine and Regé-Jean Page. But first, a police horse is recovering after being attacked by an out-of-control dog in front of horrified onlookers in Victoria Park. Video of the shocking incident, which took place yesterday and lasted several minutes, was posted online. Antoine Allen is at Victoria Park for us this evening. Antoine, talk us through what happened.
Yes, Lucrezia, this is a very popular park when it comes to dog walking. Whilst being here, I've seen a number of dogs both on their leads and off their leads. Now, those viewers that have seen this shocking video, I have to give you a warning before we play it, because it's gone viral on social media. Now, what you can see now are two police officers on their horses that were patrolling in the park. A dog comes up to them that was out of control. It attacked one of the horses, where it received a number of different injuries. It took several minutes for them to gain control of this particular dog, and the police have now placed it into their kennels, but there have been no arrests. When it comes to the police horse, whose name is Urbane, it's off duty due to the amount of injuries that it received, but hopefully it will make a full recovery. Now, the police themselves have issued a statement where they've said that if you can't control your dog, or it's too far away for it to be recalled, you need to put your dog on a lead. Now, different parks around London have different rules, so make sure you check them before you go for any dog walking.
All right, Antoine at Victoria Park. Thank you. The husband of former Iran detainee Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe has shown his support to a British-Iranian man who is on his fourth week of hunger strike outside the Foreign Office in central London. Vahid Beheshti is calling on the government to place the country's Islamic Revolutionary Guards on a terrorist list, which ministers say is always under review.
The danger is you get more determined as it goes on, and it gets hard to know when to end it. This is day 29. This is really quite remarkable. So I wanted him just to know he wasn't alone, and that many people around London and beyond saw his sacrifice and valued him.
Next tonight, police have stepped up their efforts to catch those who are driving illegally around the capital after it was revealed that London has the highest number of uninsured drivers in the whole country. Anna Geary spent the day with officers near Blackfriars Bridge, where there certainly wasn't a lack of people breaking the law.
Within half an hour of myself and my camera operator joining police in central London, this was the second vehicle seized. Officers were stopping motorists along Blackfriars Bridge and checking their documentation. Up until 1:30 this afternoon, they had found 4 offenders, including this one.
So that car will be taken to a police pound. They'll have to prove they've now got insurance. They'll be prosecuted for the offence of no insurance through the criminal justice system.
The driver could be fined up to £1,000 and get 6 points on their licence. Repeat offenders face a driving ban. The crackdown comes as new figures reveal London has the highest number of uninsured drivers, and these lawbreakers are often linked to wider crime.
During these types of operations, we stop people and we find offensive weapons in the vehicle. We find people with drugs in the vehicle or stolen equipment.
Emily understands the devastation caused by uninsured drivers as the victim of a hit-and-run in Crystal Palace in 2018. Her dog Pip has been a constant companion in her recovery. Emily was walking along a pavement when a car was speeding and careered into her. She was in a coma for 3 weeks.
I think I had to be dragged off the road. Luckily, a nurse saw what happened because the police wrote me off as a fatality. A nurse said no. And then London Air Ambulance came out. Well, the right side of my skull had just shattered. Rehabilitation's taken me about 4 years.
So did they find the driver responsible?
No. Unfortunately, they did not find him. They found the car.
Emily has accepted she'll never get justice. She's just glad she's here to share her story as a warning to drivers across the capital. Anna Geary, ITV News.
Showbiz now, and maybe time for some of you to unleash your inner geek. Committed gamers will be fully familiar with the cult that is Dungeons and Dragons. Well, now it's heading to the big screen in a film starring the likes of Hugh Grant, Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez. It premieres in the capital tonight. Before we head over to the red carpet, let's take a look at the movie.
You're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge. This one's dangerous. We also need courage, magic, and you.
Oh, from a world of fantasy to Leicester Square and to Max Akhtar, who is with the stars.
And his hair was like so long.
Oh, it was. He was in his King Lear phase.
Yeah. Hello, hi. So,
this fisherman.
Hi, we are here live at London's Leicester Square, and in front of me, why are you laughing, Hugh Grant?
So sudden.
I was too busy talking to Chris about his dad. Hugh Grant, Chris Pine, Reggae Jean-Pay, London, it's raining. How does this feel, Hugh?
Oh, completely normal. And yes, but lovely.
Good.
Exciting. I love a red carpet.
Well, you've been everywhere with this film. Literally, and look at his smile. Chris, today you're in London, you were in Paris earlier this week. What's it been like on this trip with these two amazing men?
I'm just having the time of my life. No, we have a great cast, and we have a film that we really love, and people seem to be really responding to it. And, you know, it's a film really ultimately about joy and having fun and not taking yourself so seriously, and to see the look on people's faces when they leave the theater and to see how bright and joyful they are it's a really great thing.
And it's also about a bunch of unlikely heroes, which I love, and this idea about being your hero within. Reggae, have you ever felt like an imposter and had to find a way of thinking, no, I can do this, I can do this?
I mean, I did right up until I got a literal suit of shining armour and a cape in this movie. I think I got to live out every single 10-year-old dream that I've had. A knight in shining armour with a sword and a cape, I slay dragons. I'm kind of living my best life here. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, it's great. And the costumes, I mean, they are awesome. If I were to venture into your wardrobe at home, I'm going to you with this one, Hugh, would I find any fancy dress? Because I'm hearing the sound of music, and you have a certain costume in your cupboard. Is that true?
I have several Sound of Music costumes. I have the original one that I wore as Brigitte von Trapp, who's, I think, the third eldest daughter. in a school production, a white dress with a blue satin sash. I put that on sometimes, but it's a bit tight now. But my favourite one is the Baroness, you know, and that's an extraordinary red number. That,
And did you wear that Elton John 60th?
I wore it at some party. I can't remember whose it was, but I looked lovely. I should have worn it tonight.
There's a fond sparkle in your eyes as you speak about it.
Hey, listen, the film is so much fun and you've honoured the fans, the D&D fans. It's over 40 years old, but it's also, for people that haven't played the game, you can watch it and not feel left out, right? Okay?
Oh, absolutely. You need nothing before you walk into this movie. I think the most valuable thing that our directors did, one of the cleverest things they did, is that it's a movie that has so much heart. It's just about the humans going through this world. Dungeons and Dragons isn't about dragons or magic or sorcery. That's all there. Yeah. It's about the people going through that and the feeling that you have hanging out as a group doing insane things and creating memories in that world. And that's what we made the movie about.
And Hugh, you had a bit of a viral moment recently, Oscars. It wasn't about Michelle or Brendan. I just saw your video go everywhere. I want to know, because a lot of people came to your defence and a lot of people had things to say. What would you like to say? Because there were some people that were quite upset.
I've got nothing to give you on that.
Do you think people perhaps took it to heart a little bit too much and it was just a moment thing? Because you did look a little bit shocked.
Yeah, I have nothing to give you on that.
Much like now, really.
Yeah, you guys know him really well.
I mean, Hughes too, though. This was shocking, that was shocking.
Well, listen, thank you so much. Enjoy your premiere. Lovely to meet you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, listen, a Gurkha soldier from Kent could soon become the world's first double above-knee amputee to conquer the great heights of Mount Everest. Here's a story.
He's made it to base camp before. Now he hopes to reach the summit of Mount Everest, and all without legs. If he succeeds, he'll be the first double amputee to do so. Now living in Kent, we caught up with him during his training in London.
So next week?
Yeah.
Very close.
It's very, very close.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm really excited, but finally it's coming along, but I'm slightly nervous.
Harry served in the British Army's Gurkha Regiment for 15 years. During that time, he stepped on an IED device.
Flexible, so just put them on.
He has prosthetics designed with built-in spikes for climbing. It'll take him 3 times longer than others to make the ascent.
I have got smaller feet, so they sink. At the moment, this is my day-to-day. I wake up 5:30 in the morning, go to hit the gym at 6, and 6 to 8, that's how I train. Initially, I go for cardiovascular and strength and conditioning, swim, and finally have a cold shower.
Mount Everest is the second part of his challenge. The first he's already succeeded in. Double amputees had been banned from doing the climb. It took 5 years, but it was a law he successfully got overturned.
Nothing is impossible, I think, and we can able to do that. And hopefully my climb will inspire other people.
He's got the wildness and the daringness and the optimism of a Gurkha. The fact that this was the challenge of the biggest challenge on earth. I love it. I think it's so thrilling. So when they asked me to become even involved in any way and asked me perhaps to be a patron, I said yes in a heartbeat.
You're doing this challenge not just for yourself, you're doing it for others with disabilities too.
We make awareness of disability and to change the perception on persons with a disability, and hopefully I can inspire some people, give a courage to climb their own mountain and dreams.
Very good luck to him. Weather now.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Hello there, a very good evening to you. I hope you had a good day. Sue has done it again. Look at that. She is so good at sunrises. And aren't they just gorgeous? Look at those. Thank you very much, Ben. More, please. Now, we have over the next few days got this mixture, again, of some sunny spells, but also some blustery rain and showers around. And it's going to turn a bit cooler as we go through Sunday and Monday. If you take a look at the pressure chart, you can see that it is all a little bit messy with low pressure in charge, sending in bits and pieces of rain. The isobars tightly packed together. Those white lines indicating that we have got quite blustery winds. But as we go through to Sunday, those winds start to come down from the north, things turning a bit colder. High pressure sets in, so things calming down, but you can see waiting in the wings there, low pressure, never too far away. So we'll keep an eye on the forecast as we head into next week. Right, back to you tonight and this evening. That rain moving through, a bit of a soggy rush hour, winds picking up as it comes through, particularly at the coast. But you can see after midnight, things drier by and large, the odd scattered shower. And our clear skies mean our temperatures will drop down, but a bit like last night, not too cold, lows of 6 to 8 degrees. So as we head on into Friday, it looks like there'll be some nice sunshine in the mix, but we have got that cloud then getting going and those showers starting to bubble up and move in. Some of them could be a bit pokey, probably a few more today, and there might even be a little bit of hail and thunder in the mix. Temperatures like today, reaching highs of 11 to 15, so not too bad, but we have got those blustery winds just taking the edge off things. And if you're heading out Friday afternoon or evening, well, just watch out for a few showers initially, but then things do tend to ease. I will leave you with the outlook as we head through into Sunday and Monday. Just remember, it's going to cool down a bit. Don't put your hats away just yet. See you later.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
And that is it for now. We're back with the latest after ITV News at 10. Coming up, Mary with the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, bye-bye.